Hey, good morning. I'm Eugene Triplett with Minority and Veteran Farmers. I'm the Secretary Treasurer, and we're here this morning in this workshop to have hands-on demonstration in poultry process.
Good morning, happy Saturday. Sarah Morton with the Minority and Veteran Farmers of the Piedmont. We are here at Lakota Ranch to offer a poultry processing program and training for our local small farmers in the area in the northern Piedmont district. We are here with Jacob Gilly and Jeremy Ing, who's the owner of the Lakota Ranch. Today we have about 11 participants here participating in the workshop.
So I'm Jacob Gilly, the Mid-Atlantic Sustainable Grazing Manager for American Farmland Trust. Today we're out here at Lakota Ranch and we're putting on a pastured poultry processing workshop, and we had great attendance, and we're looking at how pastured poultry can help regenerate our soils but also add a revenue stream for producers in this region to help maintain a more consistent local food system. My wife and I, we farm in Madison County, Virginia. We have a cow-calf operation. We also background calves. We have a flock of hair sheep, some pasture chickens, and some hogs, and we direct market to consumers. And so we certainly see the benefits of raising our family on the farm, and have thoroughly enjoyed today working with producers out here at Lakota Ranch.
A learning curve, and you get into it, and you get going, and you get fast, and it becomes a very smooth thing. For us, it was about an 8-hour day because there's the setup and the cleanup. So I'm actually really excited about this because that, I think, will cut down the setup and cleanup pretty substantially. We, put everything up the morning of and took it all down after we were done. So yeah.
All right, you want to check the water and see what you think?
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
If I know, do you have to get a certain temperature in that water? I used to work with my uncles, and they used to scald hogs, and they would always have a candle thermometer, and they would keep it down, and then they had to read a certain temperature. So is that important in there?
Yes, sir. 155 to 160.
Okay.
And this is probably, I think the most challenging part is the scalding, just because if your water's too hot or the bird's in there too long, you're going to scald the meat, and that's just not as good. 155 to 160. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Where are we at?
126. So we're getting there. It's actually not challenging, but it's important just because the birds are living creatures. So when you stick them in the kill cone, you reach under, you pull their head out, you try to find just below their jawbone. You have an extremely sharp knife. It needs to be super, super sharp. And you want to go quick and decisive. You don't want to, panic or freak out or hesitate. That's cruel to the bird. So you want just one fast stroke. Usually it takes me 2 to actually get the head all the way off, but you want to kill it in one. And to be sure of what you're doing, just because otherwise you're having the bird suffer. And then it might kind of shudder a bit. The nerves will kick. And that's why we've got these bungee cords, which are great because we always just did a 2-person, 1 person holds the legs. And you let it drain a bit, and then head goes in the bucket. And we would usually use trimmers to trim the neck down a little bit more. The neck length is I don't know how you do it. It's a source of constant controversy at our place because my aunt swears that if you don't get it exactly right, you're going to put a scald on the meat. So she wants a mid-length neck. No one really knows quite what that means. It's a bit of trial and error.
She knows.
Yeah, she knows. She knows what she wants for everything. But it's a bit of trial and error. You want to leave enough neck that when it goes into the scalder, it doesn't get, you're protecting that breast meat still a little bit because you can still eat it if the meat gets scalded, but it's not as good looking. If you're going to sell it, it might go bad faster, so you're trying to get it just to that kind of perfect, the feathers are coming off, but the meat isn't cooked at all, and she thinks that the extra neck helps with that. Do you want to go step by step through, or just one thing at a time?
Yeah, we go ahead and grab a bird, and,
Sure. So,
and I don't want to get you too hot. Would we?
yeah, let's unplug this, because now we're going a little over.
I can unplug one for sure.
Yeah. The temperature is pretty important.
How much
We're
are
at
we over?
165, so if we want to bring it down just a little.
Or the other option is we could add just a little. Well, that'll probably work, right?
Yeah, that should probably be fine.
You just shorten your time frame.
So you catch the bird, We try to kind of trap the wings by their sides, not do the hang upside down because it bruises the meat a bit. We use genetic freaks. I think it's the Cornish cross. Our biggest bird this year was 8.5. They're massive, and they at some point outgrow their hearts and start having infarctations and having heart attacks. So these are like genetic mutant birds. They're not the beautiful heritage variety. But we find that kind of trapping them and keeping them calm and not just grabbing them reduces the bruising, which is also just more attractive. We might see if the meat is bruised. It's fine, it's edible, doesn't taste quite as good, and it's just if you're going to package it and sell it, it's not quite as pretty.
So how, like, to get these this morning, I had to go in the house and basically run the 10 biggest ones down. I mean, is there you go in the dark and try to take them off the roost, or?
We trap them in, so we have just a movable electric fence, and we get them in so that they're all pretty close together. And then it's funny, I can show you a video. My uncle does it. He just kind of sneaks up behind them, and they're all close together, so there's nowhere for them to run. And he just kind of creeps, and then you grab the wings. And usually, if you've got their wings trapped, like most birds, they kind of calm right down. You can tell when they've got a bruised meat. You can tell when they've had an infarction, which is a heart attack. When we're processing and we're actually gutting them, the big thing is that they've got a bile duct. That if you break that open, it spews bright green bile. And that is, you'll know if you've done it. That'll stain the meat. It's still edible meat, but now your meat's bright green. So maybe that doesn't go to market. So you can actually tell when you're processing it how good of a job you've done, which is a little, I don't know, it's like a little performance review. And you can have these beautiful, healthy chickens, and you can tell sometimes, oh gosh, this one's had a heart attack, and it's got that kind of vein structure. So yeah, it'll be a fun little performance review.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, so just you stick it right in.
If you guys need to move so that you can see better, you can come around back.
That wasn't as good. There we go. And that's the reaction. Sometimes it's nice to have an apron because you get a little splatter. It's okay, I have to change your pants. So the bird is fully dead. It's not feeling anything. Just, it looks kind of gory. That's just its nerves kind of kicking. And it kicks, you let it train, and now it's good. We can go to the next.
Do you have a time frame?
But this is probably the most challenging, is the scalding. And it's because you want to get it so that this white feather just kind of tugs off lightly. You don't want the feathers falling off. When in doubt, under, not overestimate, because you don't want to scald the meat. But it's about 30 seconds at 155 to 160. And you just kind of drop it in. Oh, first step. I forgot the first step. Hose it off. Do we have a hose?
You want to go ahead and get this one going?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I guess you want to see if people want to go ahead and do it?
Yeah, does anyone want to
There's no better way to learn than to hop in.
give it a shot? Anyone?
Okay.
So just, the most important thing is you're killing it in one cut, just to not be full. Beautiful. Not that hard. Thank you. Here. So this is this cleanliness thing. We give it a rinse. We will also, this is kind of a gross part, we express the poop first, just so that it doesn't interfere, so you just press down right here,
That's a good idea. Never done that.
Yeah, you can do it at the end when you're gutting it, but now you've got meat that you're gonna eat near the poop, so I like to do it first. Can I have that hose again? And then spray that all off, get it out of there.
You said you guys cut the legs off too, right?
No, we scald it
Oh,
with the
that's
legs on
before.
and then cut. Okay. And then, let's see if how talented I am. Do you actually want to turn off the other element? It's getting a little hot.
You want me to add a little water or not?
Add a little bit of water, yeah. Let's get it back down. God, I hope I do a good job on this first one. It's tricky.
How do you know when it's right?
You pull out the bird and you should be able to tug these flight feathers off just with a light tug. If the feathers are falling off, it's in too long. But that's really, and you also, another
The
thing.
feathers are falling off, it's too long.
Yes, they should come off with just
And
a.
you can go ahead and eat it.
Yeah.
At that point.
It's
It's
not-
cooked.
So it's not the end of the world. Like I said, I would rather underdo it than overdo it. And you can tell once we've put it in the plucker, you can tell how good of a job I've done. Let's see, is the element still on? Yeah, so we're a little low. Might need to go in a
You
little.
need to plug back in.
Let's see how this goes. Right, so you can see not coming off, not long enough. So back in we go.
The wing feathers, you don't want
Yeah, there's the tippity top of the flight feathers.
Did it get it too cold?
No, that should be fine. So it came off just with a, oh, let's see if I can do it again. Just with a tug, right? But the feathers are still on, it's not falling off. And you can find out because you put it in here, and if the feathers aren't coming off, take it out, put it back in, give it a little longer. Which is why I say err on the side of not enough. So then the bird goes in here. Oop, cut off the legs. Do you have a knife for me? Thank
Same
you.
one or a different one?
This is fine. So, it's easy. You never want to cut through bone. It ruins your knife and it's hard. Just got to find the joint. It should be right here. And you cut it off. You don't have to cut it off first. We cut it off because the birds are, it almost looks like a cartoon fight from like the old days cartoons. They're kind of running, like roiling around and their feathers are popping up. And they've got nails. They can cut each other up, and that's another neat presentation thing. This doesn't look as good. Okay. Do you have the...
Get a hose and the buttons over there.
Oh, look at that. That's easy. It goes. Oh, yeah. Good job.
Totally.
Isn't that funny?
Anytime, like an older person who's processed chickens see those, you can tell they're almost upset. You know?
And now it
They're
looks like meat.
Really?
Yeah, you had to do the hand plug, didn't you? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to bring him over here and not drop him.
Feed in the waste there, but when I was a kid, my mom used to make chicken foot soup. She used to take them and boil them, and we used to eat
We've
it.
tried to fry them before. It's hard to do because you got to clean them so much. I'm sure your mom knew the secret, but we had some trouble. Okay.
You want to clean over here. Clorox, I'll get some.
Give it a Clorox wipe down.
This is amazing.
Probably do it here.
Let me do a quick pluck here, and then I'll give it another wash, and then I'll go.
That's
So you just want to wipe that down
That
with
featherman
Clorox
set
right
up,
there.
you don't need water, and it's open on the bottom. So it just sucks
You did an okay job.
on it. You do like 50 on a bird. All good.
That other side might be better. Cut on.
Yeah, I want to pluck it first, and then I'll give it one more rinse down, and then I'll get into the fun part.
It's not coming out. It's so good.
Whatever.
I got something for you, Jake. This will work.
Perfect. You do want to keep, like, we try not to cross-contaminate between steps, keep it clean. You can use gloves if you want. You can wash your hands a bunch. We spray the bird down as many times as we need to make sure it's nice and clean looking. You know, don't be putting your hands in your mouth. Don't be going petting the dog and then coming back and doing the bird.
Now, do you want me to do a rinse with water?
Yeah, give it a rinse so it doesn't taste like bleach.
Great. Don't want that.
You don't want that. It's no fun.
This works. Man, this is a nice setup.
Yeah, seriously.
So I think the only thing that we're going to add 2 more things to the, we're going to get some poultry crates. So if you have to go out into the field and get your chickens, we're going to add that to the trailer. And then we're probably going to get one of those plastic tables with a sink that you can hook up to a garden hose. And you never want to cut on the plastic table, so having a cutting board, because when you cut into the plastic, it can harbor bacteria. But if you have any other suggestions for what we could add to the trailer, I'm open to those as well.
Okay, thank you. So we call this the fine detail plucking because that's wonderful, but it's not going to get all the feathers. So this is the old school. Just get them all off. I find like we use embroidery scissors sometimes. That works. But anything that you're going to eat needs to be free of feathers. And this is just kind of a, takes a while. The least exciting step. The gossip table. People who are working here mostly gab. They tend to slow up the whole process. It's a fun time. I don't know if anyone has any questions from the first couple steps while I do this, because this might take a little while.
Do you normally just do 1 bird at a time in the plucker?
We do, that one can handle, I think we said 2. We'll do 3 in ours. It's a little bigger. It's another kind of balancing act because more birds plucks it, it's more efficient. But they may beat each other up in there. And so you want to avoid too many, now they're bruising each other and hitting each other. So it depends on your machine. It'll say how many it can hold. Maybe try with 1 fewer at first and see how that looks. I think ours can technically hold 5 and we do 3.
Through that process as well?
Sure.
Or wait until we get there?
I can talk through it now. So when you got your bird gutted, you can either partition it right away, which I think we're going to do, or you can put it whole in. That doesn't matter. But we like to, at some point, either after it's been partitioned or before, just let it sit in the ice bath, let it rest before we seal it up and finish it off. Just kind of cools the meat down, calms it. I don't know the kind of science behind that one, but we let it rest for 24 hours, and then it gets vacuumed and thrown in the freezer.
Nice to meet you. Good to meet you.
So you do a full 24 hours in the cooler?
Yeah, that's another one where, or just the refrigerator. Just don't freeze it. Rest it. We like the cooler ice bath for those 24 hours, but I don't think it's too much of a big deal whether it's in the fridge or not. It's just a good way to kind of almost prep the meat for freezing. But at some point, you can see he's bruised. He's got a little wing bruise. And when that happened, I don't know, but it could have been in there. So you kind of have to judge it, where it's the point where it's reduced your time significantly, but still has a nice, beautiful bird that's ready to eat.
So would your aunt say that's the right cut on the neck?
I think so. It doesn't look too scalded, actually. That's usually where you can start to see is on the breast.
Okay.
There's no tearing, which is nice. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think it's a pretty good looking one.
What does the scalding look like, just out of curiosity?
It looks like it's cooked. It's like
Okay.
a little white cooked meat.
Right,
almost.
like a little bit of cooked chicken skin.
Sorry, I don't want to spray anyone. How are you? You don't want to shirk on the plucking, even though it's the boring part, just because it doesn't look as good. Who wants to have a chicken wing that still has some tail feathers on the end? Get in there. Get out whatever you missed. Okay. And keep going. That's good. Thank you. Okay. You go back in. You can feel the heart and the liver usually. They come out together. This is liver. And here's the bile duct. This is the thing that you really don't want to break open. It's emerald green, it stains the meat. It's
Can
not,
you break it open with your hand or only if you hit it with a blade?
you can break it open with your hand if you squeeze too hard. You kind of have to get the, I got the heart, hold on. You kind of have to get the right middle ground between, can I have that hose again? Sorry. Middle ground between, you have to grasp it firmly to get it out. But on the other hand, there we go, thank you. On the other hand, you really don't want to break anything open because it's gross. I don't know if any of you have ever processed a deer before, but if you get into the stomach, it just ruins your day. Gosh, this heart I'm having trouble with. There we go. And that's the crop too. Did a good job loosening it so it comes right out. Smaller heart, but that's it. And now is the gross part. If you weren't grossed out yet.
This is the cut.
Get ready. You gotta take your fingers. If you want to wear gloves, this is the time, and you gotta scrape the lungs off the ribs. Keep your nails cut short. Cut my nails last night. It's not that bad, but it's a sensation. You just want to get all the matter you can off the rib cage. You should be able to run your hands along inside and feel a bone rib cage, not feel a bunch of stuff. It's like, it looks like that, right? And you're just getting bits and pieces of it off as you go in. This is the long part of the gutting process. You want to do it right. I think I got most of it. Okay, and now you cut off this bottom part, which is the butt. Kind of learn which cutting implements you like. I prefer to use scissors just because you can snip it. Cut that off, that goes away. Then you get one more. Ooh, this is fancy. Yep. Final spray. Watch out, I might spray some of you. Get it all off. Clean your cutting table. Kind of blast inside of it to get anything you missed. Sorry. Give it a blast inside. Give it a rinse. Now you've got a bird. The end.